the conversations your coaching staff are having now in terms of looking at adjustments that you want to make ahead of the game tomorrow, and what those conversations are like, and how much work you guys go through between games to try and prepare for the next one.
Yeah, there's a lot. Coaches are working after the game, during the day, throughout the day. Obviously, having a day between games is easier than a back-to-back game. Not like any staff, you're grinding probably from the end of one game to the start of the next. So that's I say grinding, but it's also the fun part as a coach. You look forward to it.
Next up, Farhan Lalji, TSN.
Travis, after the game one loss to Minnesota, you gave you guys the day off, and you talked about how they were kind of feeling down at the loss and given all the expectations leading into the playoffs and things like that. What's the mood and feeling around your team now after these past two games?
I've only talked to a couple guys so far. We'll have a team meeting tonight, but I think our guys have, we've learned a lot already. We've got 10 guys that haven't played playoff games. I thought the first game of the play-in, there was a lot of build-up. I've talked about this a few times. I think it was a little different than this situation. Our guys know they're in the battle now. They feel confident with their group. When you play two games in back-to-back days, your body's probably more tired than your mind. I think today's a good day, and both teams will probably say the same thing. But I know our group is they're obviously disappointed when you lose last night and the night before. But man, I think our group's excited to play the next game and looking forward to it. It's been a tight series, and you look at the goals. It's 12-11 right now. It's a good series. We're excited to play. I know our players they're resting today and getting their bodies ready, but I know mentally it's not the same as after game one. I believe. I think it's they understand we're in a tough series, and that's the way it should be. That's playoff hockey. You're going to win some close games. You're going to lose some close games. We're down to a best of three against arguably one of the better teams in the league. We're standing in there toe-to-toe with them, and, best of three against this team. We're excited about chances of winning right now. I got a lot of belief in our group, and they got a lot of belief in themselves, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Next up, Ben Kuzma, Post Media.
Hey, Travis, you need everybody, especially in a pivotal game like Game 5, whether it's your top two lines or your bottom two. Brock is yet to score. He's got 4 shots. He's got 11 attempts in the 4 games. Travis, is there something that he needs to do in his game? Is it getting more into the paint? What does he need to do to get on the board?
Just keep playing. Keep playing hard. Keep skating. Keep going to the net. So you don't just all of a sudden come up with a secret to scoring goals. Give the other team credit as well. They defend well. They're a good 5-on-5 team. This has been it's a good series. It's not easy to score in the playoffs, and the biggest thing is just to keep pushing ahead, keep competing.
Next up, Ed Willis, Post Media.
Yeah, hey Travis, now that you've looked at the film of O'Reilly's line, is there something technically you can do, or is this just more about will and battle levels and compete?
Well, there's a couple things. I touched on it yesterday. We got to take advantage of when we have the puck in their zone and make them defend. But they're a good line. They're playing well right now. It's easy to say be physical on them when you can. I'm not going to go into detail things that we think we can do to stop them, but they've been a factor so far. They're playing well. They're spending a lot of time in our zone. I'd like to see us spend more time in their zone against that line. So that'd be a start.
Ian McIntyre, Sportsnet.
Hey, Travis. Probably the struggles at even strength for PD's line is something new. Certainly for a playoff series, if you have one game in a regular season, you move on. It's a different opponent. But through 4 games, they've really struggled to get much done at even strength. So what's the challenge there? What's your message to them?
keep playing. I think Petey's competing. They're trying to take time and space away. They're doing a good job of it. They're a good 5-on-5 team. You don't win a Stanley Cup by accident. When you win a Stanley Cup, you're good in all areas of the game. And this is a learning process for these guys. And here we are, 2-2, best of 3. And those guys probably haven't had their best 5-on-5 yet. And I expect them to keep getting better as the series goes on, much like we've said about our group. And that's part of the challenges as young players. You get into the playoffs for the first time, you're going to face different hurdles. And these guys they're taking it head on. They know it's not easy, but they're not backing off.
Next up, we have Bic Nazar, Sportsnet 650. All right, we'll move on to Farhan Lalji.
Travis, not that you saw him in the last 2 games, but just 2 things: your reaction to Tarasenko being out for the series, and is there any update on Toffoli?
I have no reaction to their player Tarasenko being out. That happens in the playoffs, and I have no update on Toffoli.
Follow up from Brendan Batchelor.
Hey, Travis, just want your perspective on this as a former player. How important is having a short memory in a playoff series when a couple of results don't go your way? And how hard can that be sometimes to let a game that didn't go the way you wanted go and refocus on the next one?
Yeah, we've talked about that with our group. And it's not just after losses, it's after wins. You can enjoy the win for a bit, be happy that you won. Understand that you've got to do the same thing next game. That's what playoff hockey is all about. I think our group understands that. We've really talked about that with our group from day one, not to get too high, not to get too low. Come to the rink with a burning desire to win, and good things will happen. Our group is fine that way. I'm not worried about us being down because we lost last night or the night before. We've preached this from day one. Because you need it eventually. When you get to playoffs, you've got to have short-term memory, even when things are going well. And I'll say it again, this is a tight series. Games are going to look a lot like they have, even the games we won compared to the games we lost. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be competitive games. And we've just got to keep pushing forward. And again, I'll say it, I got a lot of belief in our group. They want to win badly. They're going to be fine for tomorrow. I'm not worried that we lost a couple games. That's the way the series goes. I don't think our team came in thinking we were just going to run over the St. Louis Blues. We've got a lot of respect for them, but we've also got a strong belief that we can win just as bad as anyone else, just as much as anyone else.
Dan Rosen, NHL.com.
Yeah, Travis, after I believe it was game 2, you mentioned the one thing with Bo Horvat is you can be honest with him and he can be honest with his game. How important is that when you have a situation like you're in now where there's a couple of losses and you don't have to sugarcoat things with your captain, one of your top players?
Yeah, there's no need to sugarcoat. I'm not worried about Bo Horvat. He's playing well. He had a couple phenomenal games. I don't think he has to put the team on his back every game either. He's fine. There's no need for me to have some talk about being honest with him right now just because he didn't score last game. He's having a great playoff so far. And I don't need to have that conversation with Bo Horvat, even though I know I can. That's, part of being a captain is having those conversations with your coach, and it's not always about yourself. A lot of times it's about other players, the mood of the team. Bo's a young captain that's going to grow into a great captain, and he's on his way right now.
Back to Ed Willis.
Yeah. Sorry, Travis. Have you determined what your best matchup is against the O'Reilly line, or is it kind of a situational thing?
Sorry, I didn't hear that, Ed.
Yeah. Have you determined what your best matchup is against the O'Reilly line, or is it a situational thing?
Have I determined that yet? We've tried a couple different things, so I'll leave it at that.
Ian McIntyre.
Travis, I know how much you hate losing and want to take advantage of this opportunity, but you also knew all along as a coach that this was going to be a learning opportunity for your players. In that respect, with all the ups and downs, are you still kind of loving what you're seeing and what they're going through?
I love it. I love what our team is doing. I love what we've done so far. We've talked about getting to this part of the season and how it's going to help our team. And I'm really happy with where our group is at. But I can tell you one thing: this is not about a learning process right now. We are here to win, and we've got full belief that we can win this series, and that's what I'm expecting.
Back to Ben Kuzma.
Travis, Quinn Hughes has been so good at walking the line on the power play, and the Blues have been very aggressive of trying to take away that option from him. Is there anything Quinn can do different to free himself up a little bit more?
He doesn't need to do anything. Not one thing different. He's playing great. This guy's phenomenal. I don't think they're stopping him from walking the line, like you say. I think they did a good job killing penalties last night. We're running at, 30-40% for the series. Had some good looks last night. I don't think myself or anyone else should dissect how Quinn Hughes is walking the line on the power play. He's a phenomenal young player that is going to keep getting better, which is actually a great thing for our organization.
Okay, and we're going to try Bick Nazar one more time.
Hey, Travis. Yeah, with regards to Jake Virtanen, when he's tasked with playing with Beagle or playing with Brandon Sutter, is the expectation for him to be the type of player he can be, create those offensive chances for those lines?
What do you mean tasked?
Is there responsibility on his part to create offense? Or is it more about playing a certain responsible role, and how do you evaluate he's done with that?
Again, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Is there an onus upon him to create offense, basically, when he's with those lines?
Just play their game. I'm not looking for Jake to all of a sudden do something different than he's done all season when he's played well. When Jake plays well, he's skating, he's getting behind the defense, he's forcing the play, he's taking pucks to the net. And as far as tasks to playing with a certain player, that's a pretty strong statement. I think Jake's excited to play with anyone that he plays with. I moved him up and down the lineup last night. I thought he's played well the last two games. I think he's built for this kind of series. It's not just about scoring goals. And again, we're playing a team that defends pretty well. And Jake Virtanen's fine.